Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Lone Wolf 902. Today we're out in the snow and it's gear review day. So I got my pack full of gear and I'm going to be doing probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 different items, review them, and then I'm going to go ahead and release them over the next few weeks like I did the last time I did gear reviews. So I like doing them in batch format style, that way I don't have to kind of lose out on my days to do overnighters, right? So I'm going to do, like I said, 4 or 5 different items today. But first up, OneTigris Tangram tent. We're going to go ahead and set this up and we're going to have a look at it and see what it is all about. Let's go. Alright guys, so here we got the OneTigris Tangram all set up and ready to show you guys. So I should mention that we are pitched on a Ridgeline Setup. You can set this tent up in 2 methods. You can use trekking poles or a Ridgeline. Today I went with the Ridgeline setup, just easy. I already got the Ridgeline, got loads of trees around, so that's how we're set up today. So there are very nice pieces of hardware all around this tent. Starting right here with the door, there's a little kind of adjuster guy. So I got my peg in the ground on the cordage, nice and loose, and then I can go ahead and just simply pull the cord and go ahead and snug it up very nicely. This is kind of becoming a common thing with OneTigris gear. A lot of their kit is coming out with these adjusters and it's very cool, very helpful. So on the door, there are 2 doors by the way, so I'm on one side of the tent, there's the exact same on the other side. So 2 entrances. Now here I got 2 pieces of Velcro that help this little weather flap stay closed. Go ahead and open that. Got some nice YKK zippers with some Reflectix on the cordage. Go ahead and unzip the door. So here, see a very nice opening. Now this is only half the panel. We can go ahead and open up the other panel as well. So there are toggles here to go ahead and roll your door back and toggle it open, which we will do right now. So there we got one door pinned open, and like I said, it's the complete same thing on the other side of the tent. So you can put gear on one side if you're doing a 1-person trip, or if you got 2 people sleeping, you would both have your separate doors to get in and out. But for 1 person, what I like to do is put all my gear on one side of the tent, which gives me my backpack and my chair and all my cooking stuff, and on the other side of the tent I use for access to getting in or out, and it makes it really nice and really handy. So I'll go ahead and bring you guys in for a little look at this vestibule area before I go ahead and open up that door. Alright, so here is a pretty decent view of the vestibule area. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the other door in just a second, but I wanted to show you guys the vestibule area before I go ahead and open up the rest of the tent. So kind of crawl in here for a bit of a reference. Pretty much fit inside of the whole vestibule area. So loads of room for pack space, loads of room for cooking. If you're cooking on this side and you want to open up one door or keep both doors closed, you got plenty of options. And in my opinion, it's a large vestibule. So let's go ahead and unzip and show you guys the inside of this. Actually, you know what? First, let's go ahead and open up the other door, and we'll do both panels on the other side, and then I'll come back over and kind of look through the tent. All right, so here you can see the opposite side of the tent with both door panels pinned wide open, and you got plenty of access room in this tent. Huge amounts of access. So go ahead and unzip the inner tent. It has 3 zippers down at the bottom, 1 going vertical, 2 going opposite ends. So again, giving you loads of options for how you want to open the door. And again, there are toggles on the mesh to go ahead and pin this open to stay out of your way. And these are actually kind of neat because they're not webbing straps like on the outside, like guy out points. They're actually elastic. So they're easy to stretch around that toggle and snap back, and they stay closed very nicely. All right, so coming back to the other side of the tent, got the one side of the door shut. You can kind of see through the tent where it's a massive open door. It really is huge, and it offers up a lot of ventilation inside of this tent. A lot of livable space. It almost feels like you're outdoors, but you're indoors at the same time. So it's much like the Backwoods Bungalow 2.0, the review that I did to that. I mentioned that it's a great option for tarp campers and tent campers to kind of bridge that gap where you're inside of a tent but you're not inside of a tent, and you kind of feel like you're in and out at the same time. So excellent job on that. So another thing I should mention with the Tangram is it does have a little webbing loop over here for guy outlines. It also has an additional loop here and the same on this side, and it's identical on the other side of the tent. So if it is quite windy and you are kind of having issues with wind blowing all over the place, or it's real stormy, you can go ahead and guy this out with the supplied guy lines that the tent comes with. And it comes with all the tent stakes, so it has all the tent pegs that you need and all the guy lines. So go ahead and stake those out, run them to the ground, tension them out as needed. But just wanted to mention that there is still kind of guy out loops on here, which is, it's really nice. I mean, they put a lot into this tent. All right, so to show another feature of this tent, the whole mesh inner, and I've said that before, mesh inner, you're probably asking what is going on here. So you can actually pitch this tent with or without both components. And what I mean by that is I could detach the entire mesh inner by coming in here and detaching from this little toggle and loop. So you can see right there. And then the same thing up top. I could detach that, and then the same thing all the way around the tent. Everything detaches. So you can either set this up with just the mesh inner. If you're day hiking and you want to get out of the bugs, this is a great option and get out of the bugs. It has a loop here where you can kind of stake it to the ground just to kind of keep the bottom nice and square open. And you can also pitch it without the inner. So if you're out right now in the middle of winter and you just want to have a nice open shelter with a massive footprint. I mean, this thing with the vestibules pinned out without the mesh inner, you really feel like you're in a giant tent. And I should mention, you can actually sleep going this way, one person, head to toe at the doors with just the outer. So it kind of offers up a neat little bedroom area rather than sleeping this way. So yeah, you could do it both ways. And it makes it really simple. They've gone ahead and put reinforcements on both the mesh inner and up in the actual outer. So like I mentioned, there is a pocket there to put your spike to your trekking pole. And one interesting thing is there's actually a cord that runs on the inside, and it's a Ridgeline. So instead of it just being mesh sewn and being held together, there is actually a solid Ridgeline that kind of ties into this buckle with the strap system. So the tighter this goes, the Ridgeline itself pulls nice and tight, much like the inside of the hammock. So I'll go ahead and pin this back up, and I'm going to go ahead and detach the fly, and I'll open that up and I'll show you another neat little feature. They've got a little kickstand in there to kind of give the bathtub vertical walls. So go ahead and get that set up and I'll show you guys. So if I come in to the side of the tent here and I go ahead and loosen off the main guy out point here for the actual outer, the inner is clipped inside of that. So if I go ahead and remove this little loop where the outer is detached, I can then move my tent peg in closer to this guy, this little tensioner, and we can put it in the ground and then just use this built-in tensioner system that they've kindly added to go ahead and give this bathtub floor a nice 90-degree angle. Go ahead and kick some of this snow out of the way so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So right in this little sleeve here, there's I'm not sure if it's aluminum or if it's hardened plastic, but right inside of here there is a vertical kickstand. So that actually holds up this bathtub area very nice, and it just offers up a nice little feature to keep it up off the ground rather than it collapsing in on itself. So while I've got one side kind of opened up, I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the other side. Just loosen off this tensioner to the outer, simply remove the clip, very simple. Move your tent peg in, loosen off that adjuster so you can have a little bit of adjustability. Go ahead and cinch the tensioner back up. Now we can take our outer, remove it from the tent peg, and then you have these inner toggles here. Go ahead and remove that toggle. So now we're completely free. Go ahead and flop it up over top like that, or you can go ahead and roll it and kind of tuck it in underneath these straps. But this should give you an idea of how big the mesh inner is. It's very, very roomy. And like I said, if you're laying in here and let's say there's no rain, there's no snow forecasted, and you're inside, you can go ahead and pin this back and lay and just stare at the stars for hours. It's a very, very nice shelter, and I gotta say this in my opinion is probably built the best in the OneTigris tent lineup to date. So this is January 2020. I gotta say, with the kickstand, the tensioners, the stitching on this is perfect. The Ridgeline up here, the seam sealing tape all around the tent, all the neat little bits of hardware. You can see the snow landing on top of the mesh right now. None of that actually made it inside. So this mesh is super fine, and it's actually catching all the snow. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to leave this on during the wintertime, because if it does kind of kick up with snow, like you just saw right there, this snow is basically hitting the mesh and just bouncing right off. So very, very cool. So again, kind of looking through the tent, kind of saved this part for last because I'm completely covered in snow. But I'll go ahead and kind of crawl inside just to kind of give you guys a look. Oh, I have to clean all this out when I get home. So I'm 5'7", and got a lot of room in here actually. So like I said, I'm 5'7", and there is enough room for 2 people. Generous amount of room for 2 people. My head is not hitting the end, my feet are not hitting the end, and I actually feel very comfortable. Sitting inside of this tent right now is actually a treat. It really is, because I could be sitting here just as it is right now, early morning. I could even go ahead and pin two of the doors as like little wings to kind of block some oncoming wind maybe. And I could be looking out at a lake, at a river, chilling out. Maybe it's summertime, there's bugs. I can go ahead and zip the fly down, or the mesh down. There's so many options with this tent, but it's, again, I'm excited about this because I actually use it, and I've camped in it, and I've had it out on a riverbank in the middle of winter on a little island. It was such a treat to unzip the door, and my feet were hanging literally in the water drinking coffee. So go ahead and check out the photos on my Instagram because they're there. But yeah, the inside of this tent is very roomy, and the Ridgeline up here, I didn't mention earlier, but it is an excellent place to hang stuff. So if you have mittens that are kind of wet, you can hang them up here. You can hang your headlamp, all kinds of options. So all in all, this tent is an excellent tent. I love it. The color, again, OneTigris coming out with an awesome color. Love it. The fit and finish of the tent is excellent. All the stitching is beautiful. The zippers, they don't snag at all. There's so many different ways to set this tent up, with or without both components. So you could do a mesh, you could do an outer. There's just so many different things you can do with this tent. And it fits 2 people. 1 person, it's a palace. It's massive. So now let's talk specs. So I know you guys are probably thinking, yeah, okay, we've seen the tent. How much does it weigh? What does it cost? All those pieces of info. Now, I can't really give you any because I don't know. Simple as that. I got the tent and I've been using it for a little while. I'm almost positive on Amazon.ca I may have seen a price of $189. I think I saw it because I can't find it on Amazon anymore. So my guess is they sold out. It seems like a pretty hot ticket, and yeah, it's an excellent tent. But like I was saying, I went on and I looked for the weight, and I had all the specs originally before I came out and did the review, and that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I went back on and checked, and I cannot find anything. So I do apologize for that. Hopefully OneTigris will have this up on their website soon. And then you guys can go on OneTigris.com and kind of have a look at all the specs, what it weighs. Right off the top of my head, I believe it's in the 2-pound range. I believe. I want to say it's about 2.2 pounds, but don't quote me because I'm not sure. So I know it's not an overly heavy tent. It packs inside of the nice compression sack. It has straps. It packs down way smaller if you don't use the compression sack, but the sack's nice to protect it from picking the screen maybe inside of your backpack or whatever. But yeah, it is a Coyote Brown, I can tell you that. Price-wise, I want to say it was $189 Canadian, like I said. other than that, I really don't have too many specs on it. It's a rather new product, so give OneTigris a little bit of time to get stuff out on the website and give you guys some more information. But for me, Lone Wolf 902, 2 thumbs up on this guy. Loving this tent. Going to be seeing this a lot on the channel. I will say that this tent honestly reminds me a lot of the OneTigris Fortifly, which I also have a review on my channel. That tent, the bathtub floor, the way it's got those little kickstands built in, the mesh, the zippers, it really does remind me of that tent. It's just, it's turned the other way. So with the Fortifly, it's longer. You get doors at the end. With the Tangram, it's wider and you got the doors on either side. So it's nice to kind of roll out. And anyways, different features, different tents, but this is the OneTigris Tangram. Excellent. 2 thumbs up from me. I love it, and you'll be seeing a little bit more, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more information for you guys and the next time you see it, maybe. But for now, that's it for the OneTigris Tangram, and I'm going to go ahead and pack it up. And like I said, I'm out doing reviews today, so I got 4 more things to review today. So I'm kind of in a hurry. Gonna wrap this up, get it back in the bag, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.